My name's Kim Orton. I moved in in my junior year, and my biggest memory is that you all took me in. You were all very, very generous, and I packed a full high school experience into 2 years. But no one's mentioned the debate team, and some of my fondest memories are riding all over northern Utah, going to debate meets with some of the best people in the school.
I'm Allison Butler. I am so happy to be here tonight. I just love you all. Everybody that I can't remember their name, I remember their face, and then I look at their name tag and say, oh, I love you. Viewmont was the best time ever.
I'm Vanner Johnson. This is my wife, Terry. And one thing I do remember is Viewmont did have a weight room. It was right outside the principal's office, and you waited there till he called you in.
I'm Bart Larson, and
Student body president.
I'm not sure what my greatest memory was. I've always told my children that I knew everybody in the school, and when I got here tonight, I realized I didn't know everybody in the school. But it's nice to be here. I didn't hear about this till just a few days ago. My first reaction was, I don't want to go back 50 years. And now that I'm here, it's really nice to see all of you. I see most of you are doing real well, and I'm glad to see you.
I'm Brent Baxter, but I do have one confession to make. Back in high school, we knew how to get around Alma Flake. What we do is we would tell him we had to do a cheerleading camp. So all of us would go up to Snowbird and go skiing. The problem is with that, we'd all come back with sunburns.
Mr. Lewis.
But he never caught on to it, so we kept doing it. But you guys knew that. But anyway, that was probably some of the funnest times we had. I mean, I look around here, and we got just eternal friends here, all the way around here, every one of you. And I'm just so privileged to be a part of this great class.
My name is Carlin Kundick, Guyman now. And one of the fondest memories I have is my mother had passed away. I was just 12 at the time, and my dad remarried, and we moved up here to Bountiful. And I remember how friendly everyone was. They made fun of my name a little bit, but there just was such a camaraderie that we had. You didn't feel like you had to put forth a lot of effort to have a friend. And people were so kind and generous to me, and I really, really appreciated that. And it's been such a thrill to be with some of you kids again. And I hope this goes on and on and on. We have a lot of time left together.
My favorite memory, I guess, was being a cheerleader. And it's because I came away with an attitude that I thought I just believed I knew all of you guys already, or at least you knew me, and it made me very happy.
Viewmont High gave to me is great friends, great relationships, and a fun time. Let me put it that way. Plus, the most important thing, Viewmont gave me my wife. I can't beat that. She's the love of our life.
Well, hi, I'm Dale Bailey. My wife is Ann. One, I remember that once in a while, a pizza fight in the cafeteria, you'd get carried away. Two, I worked the bookstore when I was a senior, and I remember the hottest item that we sold was Hostess cherry pies, Hostess Twinkies. Snickers was a big item. Paydays was a really big item. And Almond Joys. I remember that was the 5 hottest items.
I'm Darla James Davies, and here's another Viewmont grad. And I'm grateful. I didn't really get acquainted with him necessarily at Viewmont, but I do remember watching him in a wrestling meet or two. One of the memories that I have is of Judy Brown and Allison Butler speaking in their own tongue in Daryl Parkins' class, right?
I'm Dave Nilsson. I have a lot of fond memories of Viewmont High School. One of them that's very very vivid in my mind was at the end of one of the classes, I fell asleep at the end of the class, because I was working, and the entire class snuck out. The teacher put this on. They all walked out and turned the lights out. So that was my most vivid memory. I don't know if that's my favorite one, but I'll never forget that. I never fell in sleep in class again.
My name is David Plummer, and I'm glad to be here. This is my recent bride of 47 years, Debbie, and I'm glad to be here. And what I know best is the older I get, the better athlete I was.
I'm Dean House. This is my wife, Karen Haslam. She was an alumni of Viewmont also, a few years younger than us, but she also went there. And I guess the fondest thing for me in Viewmont High School was I had two brothers that went to Bountiful. And I didn't have to follow them. And just being at Viewmont was, some days I was there and some days I wasn't. But yeah.
I'm Lorraine Howard Dillingham now, and this is my husband, Delbert. And he is a West High bum, but I married him anyway. It's been a great 50 years. I have enjoyed it, and I'm glad I came tonight, because I wasn't going to, and Mike called and left me a message on my phone, and I thought, okay, how can I tell him no, I'm not going? And then he showed up at my door the next day. He's very persistent, but I'm glad he did. Thank you, Mike. It's good to see some of my friends that I remember, and a lot of you that I don't remember. You've changed, and I know I have too, and it's kind of fun. My only memory of Viewmont was I remember sitting in an assembly, and we didn't even have I don't think it was even finished, the auditorium. And we were trying to come up with the name and the song and all of those things that we got to do all that. And I thought that was really fun, and it was fun to be a part of that, and I'm glad I'm here tonight. Thank you.
To get together and see old friends, it's really great. I was shy in high school, and maybe I'm a little more adventurous now, but not much. Delene, Hershey, Anderson. Anyway, I've loved being here and seeing all the people that I haven't seen for a long time. So,
my name is Dennis Fraser. This is my wife, Jane. My greatest memory of being in high school is just trying to survive in the midst of such talented people. And my worst memory is Mrs. Schimmelfinny's class. She gave me an F. But I would certainly like to thank all of you who made this possible. This is a wonderful event, so thank you.
My name is Doug Adamson. Hi.
Hey!
I have a lot of memories. Just can't remember it. But I do remember playing the drums for all the marching girls, and I loved doing that.
Thank you.
I'm Ed Glashane. This is the first class of '67 reunion I've attended, and it's been very interesting. Nice to see many familiar faces, slightly more mature. I must say that from what you've all said ahead of me, Mrs. Schimmelfinny must have been the most popular teacher, as I've heard her name mentioned many times tonight. Some of my more poignant memories of Viewmont would be, first of all, that it was a brand new high school when we started. We were the first attendees, if not the first graduating class. And so everything was new. And the desks did not have handwriting on them already. And I must admit that I'm one of those who does quick calculations on the Formica. I remember also the assemblies that where we did not have an auditorium, but I actually remember going back further to when we sat on the basketball floor, also brand new, also no writing on it yet. And as time went on, the wear started to show. But most of all, I think I would thank my teachers at Viewmont, because many of them opened my mind to the world, the possibilities out there. I remember specifically English classes where Barbara Whitaker, for example, taught us to read poetry in a different way than I had ever seen before. It didn't have to just rhyme, 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 but she opened my mind to the possibilities of English, the joys, the richness of it. And many of our other professors opened my eyes to the possibilities of life and gave me the confidence to go after them. So, thank you. Good to see you all.
Favorite memory, I guess, was being a cheerleader. And it's because I came away with an attitude that I thought I just believed I knew all of you guys already, or at least you knew me. And it made me very happy.
Hi, I'm Gary Pickett. This is my better half, Colette. And probably the funnest thing to remember our senior year, of course, is cheerleading and all of our group and all the wild and crazy things we used to do in Brent's International. Can't mention all of them, but it was fun. And just meeting everybody and seeing everybody tonight's really special. So, but it's good to see everybody. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Greg Cleverly, and what I remember about Viewmont is when we were at South Davis and they told us we had to go to Viewmont, I remember us calling it Vomit High, and we didn't really want to go. But the other thing I remember about Viewmont is I was super short, and there was only two people shorter than me, and that was Gwen Carter and Doug Adamson. And but I remember, like they said, it was a brand new school. We sat on the floor in the assembly hall and all these other, but you know, we grew with the school. And by the time we graduated, we started a tradition, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
I'm Greg Erickson, and before I talk about memories, I'm going to check and see if the statute of limitations is run, and look around the room and see if the witnesses are all dead. But I would just like to say that as I look back on my life, you know, the 50 years since high school, some of the greatest influences, some of the greatest times, some of the greatest loves in terms of people are sitting in this room and came from Viewmont High, and I'm very appreciative for that, for all the memories and keeping me on the straight and narrow in particular cases, so thank you.
I'm Harvey Day, and two things I remember about high school. Our first 2 years, we were getting used to a new high school and learning what was going on, but the senior year, some of you may remember Kerry Gagan, Alan Jones, Ron Waldy, myself. The best use of the parking lots was a racetrack, drag racing and going over curbs and a few other things. One thing I learned there is you can outrun a cop, but you can't outrun Motorola. The second thing I remember was at our 20th anniversary, and I was reported as having been killed in action. So when it came time for our 25th anniversary, I was glad to be there and see the shock look on a lot of people's face. Lazarus risen from the dead. I was right by his side. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Don Peck. I'm Brent Baxter's ex-brother-in-law. He's one of my fondest memories, or his sister is. It's great seeing all you guys. It's really good to see you. You guys are all great people. My fondest memory is getting to know all you fine people. Thank you very much.
I'm Jim Jensen. This is my wife, Ada. One of my claims to fame, I guess, is we have 10 kids and they all went to Viewmont. I think Marv Ellis helped me get through chemistry. We're lab partners. I think I wouldn't have made it without him.
I'm Joel Madsen. This is my wife, Sheila. We're living in Washington State. We're so glad that so many of you reached out and invited us to come. It's been great being here. This is the Viewmont room full of beautiful people, both inside and out. I'm with some that have said they don't remember all of the times, and I know that they weren't all good. There were some bad, there was some struggle, there was hard times with academics, there was love, there was romance, there was disappointment. And we left and we went out and we got our families and our careers started. Then we had this thing called the midlife crisis come. Don't know how many of you have gone there. That's come past. We survived that. We survived school, midlife crisis. And somebody told me the next thing we have to look forward to is our second childhood.
Hi, I'm Judy Brown, Sella. This is my husband, Ron. And I remember some funny things. I remember being Mary Mitchell's campaign manager. And we did this little jingle that said, "Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how do your gardeners grow?" She had a boyfriend, Mike Gardner or something like that. And then I remember Sherry Bingham. She's so cute, and she gave this little campaign speech, and then she said, "And I say this in the name of..." And she stopped. But just some really fun memories and so many good friends. Like some of you have mentioned Brigadoon. I loved being in Brigadoon. That was so fun. And a cappella and choir. Well, we didn't really have a cappella, did we? Did we? Oh, yeah, we had a cappella. We just didn't have madrigals. But our a cappella was like madrigals. All my kids have gone to Viewmont High School. And I've got 5 grandchildren going to Viewmont, and one of my granddaughters is going out with the principal's, Jason Smith's son asked her to, homecoming, thank you. And so it's just a really fun tradition to be, you know, a Viewmont Viking, and all the friends, and just I look in all of your faces and just think what fond, fun memories I had. Thanks for all the good days at Viewmont.
I'm Judy Lofstrom. It's my husband, Woody. And when I went to Viewmont, what I really noticed being in a new school and everything was the spirit. It was such a really wonderful spirit, finding out new things and everything, and being able to make some traditions. And like Linda, I've had some lifelong friends here that I really appreciated.
My name is Julie Dean Watanabe. My husband is Dan Watanabe. The things that I remember best were Mrs. Schimmelfinnig in art, and also Mr. Hardy. He was so kind in trying to teach us chemistry. And I so appreciated that.
Okay, Julie Mendenhall, now Calais Keeney. I don't know if it's a fondest memory, but drill team, we practiced on the real grass at the butt crack of dawn, and the neighbors complained about the drum.
I'm Kathy Hendry, and one of the things I remember a lot about Viewmont, but I think has been said, it was a little bit of a lot of craziness, altogether craziness, and some really good teachers. We had some really good faculty. I remember debate, Mr. Cottrell, Mr. Bailey, and seeing everyone. It's surprising that we are have so much in common for only spending 3 years together all this time. So thank you.
I thought I was going to get out of that. I think one of my best memories from high school was the geometry teacher, and I can't, is it?
Daniel Dickerson.
Dickerson. And Bart and I found a monkey at the zoo that looked just like Dan Dickerson. And we used to visit it every year, so.
I'm Kathy Peterson Bowman, and she stole my line. I told her she was my fondest memory, but she's already said that. But I loved running around with Patty. She's a great, great friend to me. This is my husband, Merlin. We had 4 kids that went to Viewmont when we lived in Bountiful. Now we live in Kaysville. And another fond memory I had was, I think I stood next to Don Peck in graduation, and I was looking at him tonight, and I thought, I just don't remember you being that tall when we were standing in line there. But, you know, was I wrong? I don't know. It seemed he was Yes, and he was talking to Patty, and I was like, who in the world is that? I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I have, it's very fun seeing all of you, and I run into some of you just in everyday life, and that's very fun as well. Had a great time there. Thank you.
Kent Bruff. This is my wife, Lois. So many fond memories of Viewmont with all of you. I think one of the biggest is the fact that we were so new. Our first assembly, as I remember, was in the gym on the bleachers. And another very fond memory is because I really wanted to get close to all of those wonderful girls that were there. When we finally were able to get the big place where we had the productions and things, we built some scenery. You remember that? And we were assembling that in the gym. And one of my assignments was to do and get that done right. And as I remember, one of the teachers came in and said, "What happened here?" Because we had stapled everything down to the gym floor. Do you remember that? Well, I don't know if that went over so well, but all of you have very many fond memories that I share with you. And I just think that Keith, my twin brother, and all the others that we have mentioned are here. And I just want you to know that I believe they're all here. Thank you.
I'm Ken Webb, and this is my wife, Colleen. One of the greatest things I remember at Viewmont High. I talked to the biology teacher in letting me borrow his boa constrictor, and I stuffed it in her locker to try to make a good impression. And I don't know if it worked or not, but she does remember that, and that's kind of how things looked. And I was very happy to have her as my future wife for many, many years. 46 now, isn't it? So we're excited, and it's good to see you all again.
And I'm Lane Ludy, her sidekick.
My wife asked who you were. Honey,
This is my
this
other
is my
sidekick.
partner.
This is the other sidekick, the one that lifted me. But I have some very dear, sweet memories of so many of you that sit in this room. And you touched my life in so many ways. As also living here in Bountiful, I live now in Phoenix, and I have a few people to thank for being here. This is one, and this is one. But I also wanted to make a shout out to Michael MacArthur, because he was such a friend to me. He lived down the street from me. You didn't all know that, but he just was with me all the way. That he's not with us tonight is very sad for me. But it's a blessing to be here, and I'm glad to call so many of you my good friend.
I'm Lana Burns Richardson, and I came with my date and neighbor, and this date, Sandy and Dave. But some of my fondest memories of Viewmont were Brigadoon. I thought that was really, really fun, being in that production, and a cappella choir. That was a blast, always loved it, loved it. But I have two grandchildren that are a sophomore and a senior at Viewmont now. Woo!
I'm Linda Patterson Alberts. This is my husband, Ray. We've been married 46 years. We live in northwestern Illinois now. Many of my best memories from high school involve the three other women at this table, Kent Bruff and his brother Keith, Jim Jensen and his cousin Jeffrey, Mike Hansen. Some of those people are no longer with us, unfortunately. I also remember with great fondness Mr. Art Nielsen's biology classes. I took every biology class he offered, and Herr Winkelmann's German classes. And I was told when I took my college German course that I didn't really need to take a whole lot of German because I'd been well taught, and I had the best accent that anyone who had not been born or who had not learned German in Germany had that this teacher had ever encountered. And that was all thanks to Herr Winkelmann. So Viewmont was a great place. I had a great time there, and I learned a lot.
I'm Louise Call. This is my husband, Marvin John. We've been married 47 years. And the thing that Viewmont did for me is there was a home ec teacher. I think it was Caputo or something like started with a C. Was that it? And she had us eat all this, make weird stuff, you know, like different kinds of seafood and things that was really strange to me. And the sewing, and she just took a real interest in me. And I went on to Utah State and got a degree in general home ec. But my sole purpose, because of all that she had taught me and how happy she made it all be, was to be a good mom and wife.
I'm Lynn Kirkham, and what Viewmont did for me is I met my wife there.
I'm Marilyn Seifus Mann, and I'm really happy to be here tonight. I haven't seen most of you for 50 years, and it's good to be here. We had a lot of nice people in our graduating class. That's one thing I can say, just so many nice people. I'm glad to be with you again tonight. This is my husband, Clint.
Marv Ellis. I guess I agree with Mary. One of my favorite memories was just coming to Viewmont, not knowing very many people because we came from so many schools and just getting to know everybody. That was just fun. And I have to say this, that my favorite friend was Lorene. She put my makeup on me during Brigadoon, and I just looked at her and I said, "Who are you?" And that's what started things.
My name is Marvin Zimmer. It's been a lot of water under the bridge in the last 50 years. Good times, hard times, but I sure had some good times in high school. And I remember having to go to Mr. Lewis's office a few times because I made some weird sounds in the hall. And they didn't know what I was saying, so I got reported and had to go talk to Mr. Lewis a few times. But it was a great time, and I'm so glad I came out to this reunion. I was kind of apprehensive about coming out. But it's been a great time to see so many wonderful people, and you know, probably the last time we'll all see each other. But I'm sure glad I came out, so you're all good people, and love you.
My name is Maureen Mayo Pack, and I think all my memories of high school are good memories. And I made a lot of good friends. I met my husband there. He was a year older, Dave Pack. He couldn't come tonight. He's involved in flood-related issues in Houston, Texas, but I swam out yesterday and said I wasn't going to miss the reunion, and I'm glad to be here, but my husband said I had to hug Claudia Bosted and Janice Olson for him, so I'm glad that I could be here tonight.
Well, hello, my name is Merrill Vandermaiden, and I have my lovely wife Linda here. We've been married for 47 years, and I've had 5 children go to Viewmont, and also 2 grandchildren. One is a senior right now, so we're pretty well connected with Viewmont. So, and we appreciate all they've done for our kids. I think the one memory I'd like to tell is you know, Danny Dixon said he didn't remember anything that he could tell, and this one won't get you in trouble, Danny, because some of them I know would get you in trouble. But we were playing a sophomore basketball game, and Danny was a pretty intense player, and I remember that we were out on the court, and he went up for a contested rebound and got the ball, and we got it out and started going down the other direction, but as he passed the coach, he spit his front tooth out on the ground in front of him. But Danny didn't stop. He just kept on running down to the other end. The coach had to finally stop the game and get him out so they could figure out what they're going to do with that tooth. So.
Hi, I'm Mike Guyman, and my fondest memories are of Mrs. Schimmelfinney's class as well. I didn't realize we had so many artists in the group. I was involved in making the plaque outside, the emblem in the floor, so that was kind of fun. And then class reunions. Carlin and I have been married for 7 years now, and we got together at one of the class reunions. So you never know. Who knows what might happen tonight?
And I'm Nancy Bangeter Perry, and like Linda, I too loved Mrs. Schimmelfinney's class. We had a lot of fun there. We had a great time painting all the backdrops and things like that for the production, so it was great. And actually, I designed the first high school emblem for Viewmont. I don't know if any of you remember that, but mine won it.
I'm Patty Kay Pepper. This is my husband of 47 years, Gary Pepper. My fondest memory of Viewmont is this sweet woman right here, Kathy Peterson. Met her in the 10th grade and become best friends with her and everybody else in the room. I was really at school for the social end of it. I don't think I was there too much for the academic, but I did love school and loved just seeing everybody and everybody we grew up. There's so many kids in the room that we started out at Adelaide and went to South Davis Junior High together and then Viewmont. Anyway, lots of fond memories.
I'm Phyllis Trump-Wintle, and this is my husband Daryl for 48 years. And I'm like Gwen. I love the idea that we're all here together. And it's interesting to know that we've just gone through different things, but I love the fact that after crying so violently the last day of our 9th grade year, because I wanted to go to Davis, because I'd gone to Kaysville, and Viewmont was built, it was just nice to come down and be part and have a new school that we were proud of, and I loved high school. I have one memory, and this isn't a fun one, but it's just a very strong memory of mine. I don't know if you remember, do you remember Barry Cleverly? I remember when he got killed on the train tracks, and the day before that we were sitting in seminary, and he turned to me and he wrote his name down, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I just want you to have it, because when I make my first million, that's going to be my signature." And 2 nights later, he died on the train tracks there, and I remember going to the funeral, and that was the first time I'd ever seen a class ring. Does anybody remember that? They had brought in the class rings, and he had it on his hand, and it just made me realize that life's fragile, and I think it's been a good thing because it seems like all of our 7 kids, and now even our grandkids, they've all had challenges that they've lost someone from their class, and I relate to that. But anyway, I just remember that memory so well. So thank you, and it's so fun to see all of you.
I'm Gwen Carter Davis, and I am definitely standing up. There's so many stories, I'm not even going to go there. But as I've been listening and thinking about Viewmont, I remember sitting in class. We didn't have doors, remember? We didn't have doors. And these guys with white uniforms, the carpenters used to wear uniforms, came and put the doors on the classrooms while we were sitting there. And they'd pound and hammer, and the teachers would have to stop. What great memories. But as I look back, I always told my children and my grandchildren now that I loved high school. And I think it was the friendships and all of you that made that possible. And as I drove in tonight, late, of course, I came a long ways. I was astounded at how many cars were already here at 5 after 5. So congratulations, everyone. We made it 50 years.
I'm Renee Stark-Harris, and I brought my daughter tonight because I needed company. And so she's sitting between her father and me. So my fondest memories of Viewmont, there's a lot, but I really enjoyed being in the pep band because I was able to go to the basketball games and the football games, and that created a lot of school spirit. Thank you.
Rick Lifforth. I live here in Layton, and we hosted a neighborhood party in our backyard tonight with 200 or 300 people. So sorry that I didn't get here for the meal, but It's good to be here.
Hi, I'm Rulon Harrison, and 50 years has gone by pretty quick. I really enjoyed high school, had great friendships. Seemed to me we had a lot of fun parties and good relationships with the teachers. I had 5 kids go to Viewmont. My oldest son, as a matter of fact, got a perfect score on the ACT, and he was one of 18 of 900,000 who took that test back then. So anyhow, it's great to see all of you again, and take care.
Anyway, my name's Sandy Bessie McIntosh. My husband is Dean. And one of my best memories is right now, I made it. I was a lot younger then. No, I don't know if you guys remember, but the 6 of us girls that were put in as cheerleaders, we decided we wanted to have some yell leaders. So we had to go around and recruit these guys to be our partners. And they were so great. I mean, we had to talk real fast for a lot of them, but most of them were pretty willing, and we had a great time. I remember Colleen Caputo, Art Nelson, Brigadoon. There's so many memories, but most of all of you. I love coming here, and it just feels like no time has passed. It's just fun. Anyway, I love y'all.
Scott Duncan. And I think Viewmont taught me about double jeopardy. Al Flake was principal, and he was in the bishopric at home. My parents were well informed.
I'm Steve Young. I was a yell leader. I don't call it cheerleader. That's too sissy. No. I just loved high school, and I remember the first day of walking down the hallway, met Don Peck, and he kind of gave me a little smile, and we built a great relationship. And Brent Baxter and others, it was a wonderful time. So I enjoyed it very much.
Hi, I'm Susan. Hi, everybody. So good to see you. Some I know, some I've got to look up closer. This is my husband, George. We just celebrated our 50th. Aren't we doing good? We were the first ones to get married. A little crazy, a little young, but I remember having to do all of the colors for Viewmont, the names, everything. No senior class. It was tough. We wanted to go to Davis. Bountiful kids wanted to go to Bountiful High. It was a toughie, but we ended up loving everyone and had such awesome people that we got to know. And it was a privilege. So love you all. Take care of yourselves. Glad I'm here.
I'm Terry Turner. I also am grateful to be here tonight. My wife would be unhappy with me if I didn't tell her that she was the greatest thing I remember from Viewmont. But there are a number of things I remember from Viewmont. I remember the first win I think Viewmont had was a basketball win against Davis High School. Viewmont beat Davis. It was a great thing. Another thing I remember fondly is there were several of us that got to know David Rose, who taught physics and math. And Mr. Rose was, when we registered, we had to do it in person. We were in line. And I remember some friends of mine, Steve Lewis and Alan Call and Alan Nielsen, we were in line, and we decided we wanted to try this physics class. And so we told him that we wanted to register for physics. He says, I'm not sure we're going to allow you to do that. We don't know for sure we're going to allow 10th graders to take physics. I thought, he was a student, it looked to me like. I thought, who are you to tell us we can't take physics? And so they finally let us in the physics class. We got into class the first day, and he's the teacher. He looked as much like us as we did. So, but Dave Rose turned out to be a real good friend over a number of years, and don't know where he is now. But we really had a lot of fun with him and gave him a lot of harassment.
I'm Val Mills. My fondest memory of Viewmont is I was a transplant. I came up here. I had graduated in high school in California, had all my points, football player, had everything going, and my parents decided they was moving back to Utah. I ended up at Viewmont. And I met some very fine, wonderful people. I've got numerous memories of the friends that I have, and my dear cousin, Brian Mills, who kind of pulled me through everybody and introduced me and made me feel welcome in Viewmont. And it was a wonderful year and a wonderful time that I had.
My name's Wayne Cox. This is my wife, Vicki. I'm really struggling because all you guys are talking about all these things you remember, and I'm not sure where my car keys are, and I can't remember where the bathroom is, and I just remember a few things, but that's all.
I'm Wes Chapman. This is my wife that I've been fortunate and lucky enough to have been married to for almost 50 years. She's put up with me for that long. You only had to put up with me for 3 years. She's had me for almost 50. My fondest memory at Viewmont was running down the Bamberger tracks to football practice. I don't know if you remember, but we didn't have a football field, and so when we played football, we had to run down the Bamberger tracks, practice over at Bountiful Junior High School, and then Dean and I limped typically all the way back, and anyway. But that's one of my fond memories.